Okay. I'd like to call the Open Space Committee meeting to order. It is 3:05, and we are being videoed, and we are been asked to introduce the members. I'm Sue Perkins, Chair.
Gordon Moore.
Becky Gallagher, Secretary.
Dick Skinner.
Kathy Sherwood Richards.
Lisa Malzinski, Vice Chair.
And has everyone seen the minutes from the previous meeting?
Yeah.
Any corrections? I entertain a motion to accept. Or haven't read them yet?
No, I abstained because I was not present.
Okay.
I wasn't either.
Okay. Entertain a motion to accept. So moved, anyone?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Dick's not voting, yep.
He can't, Dick, you can't second a motion or anything until you become a
Official.
member, official member. So someone else has to second.
I seconded it.
And another
That's
so
right.
moved. All right, all in favor?
Oh, you just said, forget it.
All in
Gordon and
favor?
I abstained.
Okay.
What does it take to become a member?
Sit tight.
Sit
Wait a
yeah.
minute. That's,
Sit tight.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
that's
Okay,
number 3 on the agenda.
all right. Now, did you fill out an application?
I certainly did.
Okay, do we know where it is now? Has it gone through the process? I would think it would have been in our box.
There was nothing.
So,
Where'd you put the application, Dick?
did you give it to anybody?
I don't remember.
Well, I'll ask the town clerk after the meeting.
Does it go to the clerk or the selectman?
It's the selectman.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put, where is Dick's application?
Have to find.
We won't throw you out.
Well, just a technicality here.
Mhm.
So we would recommend you to be approved by the select board.
So there's a step missing?
I believe so, because we're all appointed by the select board. And so we would approve your application to be appointed by the select board. I think that's what would happen. So, I was gonna say we could do it pending, but then they could get it before we would, and then that wouldn't process correctly either.
It doesn't matter. It's, it's one less vote, he still can
Well,
participate in the
it's
meetings.
an open meeting, so I can sit in an
Yeah,
open
right,
meeting
All right,
anyway.
We'll just do it the right
Right.
way, and
I just can't vote.
you need to approve.
And you just have to go for the selectmen meeting.
Yeah, but they will ask you to come, when to come to be approved. So we'll recommend you, then the selectmen will call you in and go to a meeting, and they'll
Just-
say yes or no.
The mystery of the application.
We'll track it down. All right.
I probably gave it to you anyway, and it's buried in that stack there.
I'll be back in a minute, I'll look for it. All right. Well, okay, next, number 4 is the Keven property, which Dick and I put up, he made a sign and we put it up. Has anybody seen it? Yeah.
Yep.
I have.
What do you think? It looks good? Still up there after all those windy days? That was
Oh,
a test.
It's not coming down.
No.
A hurricane wouldn't take it down. However, a fire would.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it looks good. It cost Dick money to make it.
Yeah, but that's,
We can take it out of our budget. We have $300 in our budget.
I have 1,000 ways for you to spend that $300.
Yeah, okay, right.
And I'm not even a
One third of
member.
a dollar for each.
Look out when I'm a member.
Okay. Yep, the sign looks good. overlay of maps and letter for another opening. All right, I did write the letter to the neighboring property and have not heard anything yet. So, that was, I think I sent it out on the 23rd of December, which is
Oh.
busy season.
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking into, how to respond or not.
More likely, it wasn't useful to them, they just threw it out.
Well, we can't make that assumption, so.
Right, we'll give them a month and then get back to them.
A month?
Well, it's
You have
10 days
patience.
short of a month already.
Yes, you have patience that I don't have.
Okay. The trouble is, you don't know how to contact these people if they don't have home phones. But maybe a follow-up letter.
I like the,
Drive by and visit them.
Mm-hmm.
I like the
Knock on
drive
their
up to the
door.
driveway approach.
Okay. In person. All right. So we'll talk about it at the next meeting and go from there? And the overlay of maps, that was an interesting,
Oh, it's in out.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little confusing, in fact. Yeah,
It's not really.
well, I thought it was, but,
It's just the 3 different routes.
right,
So you can see how close we were to some of them and what the,
potential for making more routes and loops.
well, so further exploration is gonna be in this area here because this, the conservation works laid out is a crappy route,
Right.
very crappy. So.
The area that you took that separate little loop on.
Yes.
The separate purple one is.
Yeah, so I followed his markings and stuff like that, and it was like, oh my God, it just came down to where the bridge would have to go. But there's still, I want to explore up in this area and down in here to where we're going to cross this stream.
Mhm.
I want to just look a little bit further down and, oh, this is actually where the stream crossing is, just
Yeah.
play around a little bit further down here to see if there's a better crossing
Mhm.
that needs to be explored, and then I think I might want to explore, of course, I put this over the
key.
that was stupid. Just to take a walk further over into this corner right here.
Mhm.
So I have homework. Whoever wants to traipse with me can come with me.
Anytime.
Did they say how long the trail is that they created?
No. No. He just basically GPSed what was already existing because it's out there.
Yeah.
This one here, it wouldn't matter if you GPS it because we're not using it.
Yeah.
So,
And across the other side of the brook would be, as far as when, if we get in contact with this person, that's the neighboring property, there's parts of it that is closer to the road than other parts. And, so maybe that would be a better area to explore in. Over to Vine area.
so you mean like coming in from here someplace?
Yeah.
But that's not gonna much matter anyways. We still wanna lay out this trail. It's gonna be a
Right.
loop trail.
Right.
So
But
if
for
we end up
additional later ones.
coming in, we'll just be tying into it over here, that's all.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I answer that.
Just for the slow and infirm, who has to approve trails? Who has to,
Well, when we went on a site walk one time recently to the Mazinski property, and we brought the town...
Conservation agent.
Yeah, conservation agent. Chris Pupka? No, not, so it's...
Brandon.
Yeah,
Brandon.
Brandon, yeah. The one that you see at the conservation meetings and everything. He works for a couple of towns. He came with us and said, basically, we were looking at the trails that were already there and thinking about maybe looping one closer to the river and everything, and he walked with us and didn't really seem like it mattered if there was approval. You know, if we just used the basic theories of staying away from the edges of the water if not needed to be and things like that.
But if some of the trails, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Some of the trails are going to need things cut down, trees cut down,
Yep.
rocks or boulders moved. Some we can, some will require equipment
Right.
or walk around it.
So for instance, if
It
we
would-
wanted to go in and move the stone wall at the Keven property on a weekend to make a pass through,
Yeah.
I don't think we need any permission whatsoever to do that.
I don't think we would have to keep the Conservation Commission
I agree.
Yeah,
in on that.
okay.
I think anything big like moving stone walls and cutting down trees should go through Concom. I would voice totally against cutting down trees. You can walk around them, you know,
But if you
cutting
need to clear
brush,
a path, if you need to
cutting
clear-
brush. But I'm talking
pathway.
about cutting down a tree, you can walk around that. You can trail around a tree.
Okay, are we talking about creating new trails, or are we talking about the easement into the Keven?
I think
Well,
you started talking about Indian
Oh,
trees.
any new trails,
anything
gotcha
like
then,
that, yeah.
all right. Yes, for the most part, we can go around and stuff.
yeah. And if you run into something you can't, then go Concom or
No,
I mean,
it's
let's-
whoever owns the property, and in the Keven case, the Conservation Commission has jurisdiction over that property,
because
because it's
Conservation land.
it's designated as conservation land.
okay.
So it's Town of Douglas Conservation Commission land. So they would have to approve. I mean, if we're going in to cut a deadfall or something, that's one thing, but when we're talking about moving stone walls and, I mean, the boulders and that easement and stuff like that, I mean, that
Okay.
we would at least need to make them aware that that was the plan.
So, I was gonna bring this up under new business, but since we're talking on Keven business, okay. So January 6th, I was at the Conservation Commission meeting for some other thing, and I was gonna go leave, and Matt says, you may wanna stick around to the end because we're talking about conservation properties. I'm like, okay, so I did. So, who's the chair of the conservation?
Mark Munjum?
Yes, thank you. So Mark had started making a list of the conservation properties, because I guess they really don't walk them that much or have an idea of what they are. And so he said, I started doing this and doing that, and so he's talking about everything, and then Matt says, so Becky, you want to come up here and give an update? So I joined him at the table, and I told the Conservation Commission, I said, okay, this is where we're working on right now. I said, so, told them what we were doing at the Keven property, and updates on that. And then the Leon Mazinski property, that we had ordered signs, and that there's another trail in there that we want to flag out and get that established. And I said, I am more than willing, if anybody wants to take a walk to explore things and check things out, more than willing to take you out. So I said, we need to keep each other in the loop. I says, you're showing an interest now in the property of what's going on and stuff like that, and we're already working on it. I said, so we're gonna have to make a concerted effort here to keep each other updated.
But we also could have saved Mark some work, because all of those properties are listed in. Right. Right.
And I made a folder for each one.
Yep.
Pretty colors.
So anyways, I was kinda happy to see that, and so they are updated on what now they have a clue of what we're working on,
That's great.
so.
And they want us to come to their meeting in February.
It's okay.
Is it, Attend on the 3rd of February at 6 PM the meetings are?
I think it's 6:30.
6:30.
6:30. Okay. Anybody, I can go if anybody wants to go.
anyway.
You have to go anyway? Okay.
What time again?
So if there's too many of us, do we have to put?
Yep.
It's at 6:30 on the 3rd. It's a Monday, I think.
Did they say why, or they just requested?
It's about the Keven property,
Oh, okay.
It's about what?
the Keven property.
Oh.
Maybe they have something they want to share with us.
But maybe there was some overlap, so maybe you
Right.
should talk to Jen first and,
See if we need to.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did say that we did hire somebody to, come up with a trail assessment and stuff like that, and I says, we're working on right now, we need to get quotes on, to establish the parking lot and open up that easement all the way in for the trail. I said to Mark, I says, if anyone knows any good
Yeah.
companies to get quotes from, let us know. So, good.
Yeah, Porter, you want to stick Porter in the list,
Oh, I've got it on the list.
yeah.
So while we're on that subject,
Bill is,
oh, I know Bill.
okay.
Kathy knows Bill. You know Bill. So I made this up of looking for what we're looking for. So I don't know if I can email this to everybody, or you can give it a quick look. You can read it if you want. I says, we're looking for quotes for the following. Establish a parking lot which would include the parking easement area and across to the edge of the trail easement. This would include removing trees, stone walls, and leveling. The parking lot should be gravel. Depending on how bony the parking lot is, we might need to have 2 holes dug for the future kiosk sign. They could be pre-dug to loosen the soil up, so when the sign is ready, we can redig to set post. There's an existing stone wall in the front to be relocated to the rear and right hand of the parking easement to delineate the parking boundaries. Red lines on the map, so I just remove trees along the 451-foot easement to open the trail. There are huge boulders in the way, maybe splitting them to open the width needed, ideas welcome. And there is another stone wall to go through at the back of the 451-foot-long easement to access the property. An opening will need to be made there also. So I gave the location between 221 and 229 Southeast Main Street. The easement is 14.58 foot wide, 450 foot long. And then the dimensions of the parking easement.
Mhm. What's the dimensions of the parking again?
It's 10 foot along the front of the road
Okay.
and 25 feet deep. So that's gonna be 10 foot along the road plus the 14.58 feet
25.
is you've got 24.58 feet width in the front. So it's almost 25 by 25.
Yeah. Great.
Well, what did you intend to do with that?
I have a list of people that I'm gonna call and ask them to get quotes from.
Okay.
I figured I needed to lay out the information to give to them for what needed to be done.
No, I think that captures it. It's very
Oh,
good.
yeah. That's not my concern. My concern's a legal concern.
Of what?
Are you doing that getting the quotes on behalf of the town, on behalf of this group?
Open space,
That be,
on
This
behalf of
group.
our committee.
which is a subset of the town. So does the town have any concern about this? There's nothing in there that said that you retain the right to accept or reject any and all quotes.
I don't think that's the question right now, is just getting an idea of what
It's gonna
it's gonna
cost.
cost so that we can do something to
So
bring
you're
to the
just getting
town.
quotes.
Yes, just
So
getting
we
quotes.
have
will-
something to bring to the town, say this is what we're gonna do and this is
Yep.
what it's gonna cost.
Right, and whether we can go after some matching grant or something, we need
Mhm.
a figure to play with, to start
Yeah.
with. We
Yeah.
don't have that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just want to jump to number 8. Speaking of, it is pretty tight. Is there any possibility that we're applying for that? Trails grant, Mass Trails grant?
2-1, right?
Phew. Okay. Depends on how quick we get some quotes in.
Well, there's a page in there that needs a sign off by the property owner, which would be either the conservation or the person who does contract, what is it?
Finance.
No, the contract authority in town would be, I think, Matt Wojcik. So if it's conservation, we can't wait till the last minute because they won't meet and then,
Yeah, they're not meeting until February, they eat more than once, February 3rd, yeah.
but I think it could be Matt, so we just need to look at this because, somebody sent one to me. So you need to have that signature, this is just even for the application. It's to say that they can, that we could access the property to do that work. But it's for the application, not even whether or not you get the grant.
But your question reminded me,
So we just have to prepare for that.
there's nothing in your request for quotes that says when you want it done. And I would think that that may impact the quote because of winter versus summer and frost in ground and all those little details.
True. I'm gonna assume the usual summer work, spring, summer, fall work period time.
Well, by the time you get that quotes,
Yeah, probably.
then you get it
It'll be
planned,
winter
it'll be
again.
summer anyway.
So maybe I'll take that back. This is for
That's
projects for property where another entity holds a restriction, so maybe it doesn't apply. But
So
we'll
the big
double
question
check.
on that was, who would apply for that grant application on behalf of the town?
Oh, I think we can apply for it, but the authoritative
The decision making.
execution of the town's commitment has to be through the administrator.
And how are we gonna do the 20% match?
The 20% match,
That's
It
the
would
Mass
still-
Trails,
It could be-
it's 20.
Yes. It could be volunteer labor, or any type of volunteer work. So if the town votes, whoever's in office here, any of their time spent towards accomplishing this would be count.
so it would be cash and in-kind,
Yes,
as in volunteer time. Okay.
yes.
But the 80% would come from the town, is what you're saying?
No, 80% is the grant,
The grant, okay. So the 20% would have to come from
us,
us,
yep.
okay.
I mean, we could each match that, because the rate actually might even be higher than this right now, but last I knew, the volunteer rate for Massachusetts was $39.19 an hour. So even any of the work that we do on the trails, but it would have to be, if the grant was approved, once it's approved, then any work you do after that is,
Yeah, it
Counts
starts
towards-
counts
building
towards it, yes. So any work that you do out on the trails or anything like that,
Making the grant.
opening up the trails and
So,
whatnot would count towards volunteer labor.
and this would go to our budget, but should we have an amount in that budget for,
20% match.
yeah.
Probably not be a bad idea.
Contingency.
When does that, do you know when that you have to have that approved for to get it onto the town meeting? The town meeting is the
The-
5th of March.
May.
So there's a conundrum. Do we ask for just the matching amount on the grant, or do we ask for the whole pot. Because if you don't get the grant,
Yes.
And
So
it
you
just
can
goes-
make it, you can ask for the whole thing,
Contingent, maybe.
so, and then include a clause that we are pursuing this grant.
Mhm.
And should this grant come through, we then offset, but that the whole pot covers, the whole amount is covered by town meeting, whether or not we spend it entirely or not. Depends on whether we get the grant and other circumstances. That's the way I would approach it.
yeah.
So the deadline, when is the decision?
February 1st is the deadline to get that grant application. in.
Right, but that's the deadline, but when do they come back with a decision? I'm just would we know
You-
before town meeting? State?
Um,
Probably not.
not necessarily. They're reviewed in March. And then I think it's got to go through some other steps
Yeah,
It's not
before they
taking a
make that
chance
known,
on
so
it.
it's,
No, it would be
not till
close.
May or June-ish.
yeah, June probably sounds more like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that's the safest way to make sure that the project gets finished, that in order to offset costs, we have applied for this grant. Decisions are to be announced whatever date.
Yep.
And this is the
Okay.
quote that we want.
Well, this is what we've
Yeah.
come together for as a budget, and we would share the grant budget with the committee we're presenting to for the finance committee, or just our budget request, whatever, whoever we need to share it with.
So do you have people in mind to send the quote to?
Billy Porter was one, Chris, S-T-R-U-K?
Stark.
Stark, I don't know how that's pronounced. And there was a couple more that I gleaned. That's
Mhm. Local people.
Team Shovel, I think Team Shovel was another one.
Yeah, if you can at least get a couple, so you know what ballpark, that would be good.
Does McIntyre fall anywhere in there? Or are they strictly on their own land? They don't go up?
They supply gravel and
Gravel.
materials,
They're not
yeah.
into the business of,
Hmm.
that I know of, doing that kind of work, but
As far
I'll
as the-
make that a priority to, within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, to get all this to get pulled together.
So we did see that guy that lived 2 doors up that was willing to take trees down and all that sort of stuff.
You know, he said he would take the trees once they were down,
Right.
Yeah.
not
You want the fire away?
take them down.
Oh, no, really? Oh, well, okay, yeah,
Once
oh.
they were down.
Oh,
That's
forget
different.
that, yeah.
That doesn't help us any.
No,
And
no.
at that stage of the game, I wouldn't even bother with that,
Right.
because that's just gonna slow down the work that they're doing. So
Right.
whoever
Get
comes
out of
in and
your
gets
way,
that,
yeah.
exactly.
That's their prize, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Absolutely, great, okay.
So,
All right, so,
okay.
want to write the grant? I've never written a grant before.
I'll do it with somebody's work. I have filled those grants out before, and I reviewed them for like 20 years.
How long are they? I just have this one page.
No, I can tell you right now, it's a lot more than one page.
No, I know that, but I just have this one page that I know about. But I'm happy to help.
Want to get together for a session in here, some
Sure.
meetup?
Let me get this first.
Yeah.
Then we'll have to download the
Let us-
application.
Yeah, let us know, and then we'll make a date that we can meet here and get it done.
You have to post it.
Yeah. Okey-dokey. All right, next, let's
back to number 5.
Yeah. Can we finish 4? Okay, Conservation Drive, acceptance and liabilities on all town property. So I just added the liabilities because I know it's, you know, Dick's brought up things like, well, you should post for hunting, and I don't know, you know, if someone gets hurt, I'd like to know if we're liable or the town is liable, or there should be something written that says that, you know, people go on conservation land and it's at their own discretion or whatever.
At their own risk.
Yeah. Does anybody know if it is that way, or otherwise we can just talk about Conservation Drive?
I can't remember the chapter, but help me out. It's municipal property is considered the same as like farm recreational property, so that there is,
Is this your info?
you're not,
Liable.
you're not, if someone walks on the property and everything, you're not liable for, the town isn't liable. You can still try to do whatever to recoup costs or whatever from insurance-wise and everything, but you're not liable for accidents.
Okay.
And I can, it's like Whittier Farms having the farm tours and things like that. And the town, because it's town property, it's covered by town insurance, town coverage. It's like the common or the other town properties. But I don't know where else you want to go for.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But
Well,
I think it's probably good for posting for hunting at some point when we
And the
get more
common
signs.
telling us that they want us to get insurance.
For the town common?
I don't know then. But I'm like thinking of state forest, right?
Right.
That doesn't have big signs everywhere. that
Depends
say-
on, yeah, it depends, so the stuff at the common, if it's an organized event, you would,
True.
they would, so.
That's the
we
difference.
need- That's the difference, because when we hold a ride, an organized ride on any state properties, we have to have the insurance.
You get a rider.
But if I'm just out there riding by myself and use it normally, anyone just stopping and visiting at the common, or anything on town property.
Yeah.
But if it's an organized event, then the insurance has to be provided by that organization. That's a
So if
different.
we had a trail hike?
If it was an organized event that you were doing, and it was over 25 people, yes.
Over 25 people, yeah.
For state property, I have no idea what the town
Mhm.
is.
Yeah, but the key is the organized event.
Mhm.
Right.
We won't
So
organize
otherwise,
any events.
it's not an issue.
No sleigh rides.
Well, that Matt
Mm.
probably had some thinking about that. Excuse me.
So the Conservation Drive is now town property.
Yes, and I was gonna suggest that, maybe we send a thank you letter,
Yes.
right? So if you want, I can draft a thank you. Rob and his, I think his father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen these? I left you papers. It'd be
Interesting to maybe propose to the school to do a little research on the canals and things like that that are over in that area. Those would be more on would those be on the Duval Road property? We're gonna get from that. Yep. But we'll work on learning about what's behind that property that used to.
Mark Venusian, when I mentioned that at the meeting, it seemed to think that the way he responded made it sound like he knew about that.
Yeah, I think some folks have done some research in the past or something, because there was like a conduit. It was all about getting water to Manchog, you know, and into those mills, those functioning
Yeah.
mills and everything, but
I if you look at the topographic maps, you can see how that channel would run that way.
I mean, it would be nice to get some interpretive signage out there at some point,
Hugely.
right?
Huge.
So, I think that would be great.
I already mentioned too, I said there's existing bridge abutments there.
Mm-hmm. Perfectly
Yeah.
placed.
Yep.
We'll have to take Dick out there someday,
Yep.
when the snow melts. It's very interesting. It's like with the canals and things like that in the woods. So you're gonna write a letter to?
Yeah, I'll draft one for you to sign.
All right. Next one is number 6, the Gilboa Street pond lot. You mentioned, think about possibilities for that.
Matthew Benoit said that there is an agreement with the mill to provide parking
For the mill?
for the mill.
Which mill?
The
The
mill across the street.
existing, the old mill.
There are laws about having the proper amount of parking spaces, and they don't have enough
Okay.
over there. So I asked him in an email, and I never heard back, how many? And if, a few could be put aside. I haven't heard back. I'll probably see him at the next master plan meeting.
Okay.
Oh, so the pond side is now town property?
Yes. Big
I
chunk
was
of
thinking
it.
that would be a great place for a farmer's market or something like that.
I was thinking benches and picnic tables and trees
People used to fish there all the time.
and kayak launch. About a month ago, I went and spread a lot of wildflower seeds along the edge.
Uh-oh. The mowers will be along now.
No, where
Yeah.
there's never caught,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see if some comes up. Garden flowers and bonsai.
Garden flower seed.
Bringing the birds and the bees and. But the possibilities there, I think,
Yeah.
Especially if you rip up some of that pavement.
That's leaving some to meet the law for the parking, the rest all goes. Trees.
Yeah.
So is the company gonna lease the parking from us?
See, I don't know. I have to talk to Matt, who knows?
Because that would be great to create a fund for that spot, and then there would actually be some money developed to go towards improvements. I'd hate to see the whole thing left for parking again, because that's a big spot.
Yeah. I went there the other day and did a big walk around. I could see it.
He's visualized. That's good. All right, great. Keep ahead of it.
Do you know, if you ever go up to, I think it's Marlboro again, anytime soon.
Oh, the walkway?
Yeah,
Oh, I couldn't believe that. It's so busy too.
there's a big lake right next to like the main street or
Lake
whatever.
Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you go, and I thought, oh, is that something part of like the water treatment or something? No, it's a walkway right through the lake.
Yeah.
And like Steve said,
There.
people are out there all the time, walking, biking, wheelchairs, whatever.
Through the lake.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
it's
kinda
what,
cool.
it's like 20 feet out or whatever. It
Yeah,
kind of
something.
follows the
Yeah.
shore, but it's out there.
So it's part of the property on Gilboa, they own the dam, the town owns the dam.
We walked across that, didn't we?
Is
You walked
is it walkable
I wouldn't.
or putting a bridge, putting a walkway behind the dam? Because on the back side of the pond is a huge area of
Yeah.
upland. where we-
Exactly.
Where we could put trails and.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that could happen.
Mhm.
Is this water on town property?
That part of the pond is.
Part of the
if you-
pond.
If you look at the,
Yeah, one edge of it would be on town property.
yeah.
How easy is it to get to it?
It's the Mumford River.
Well, yeah. You can walk on the Gilboa Street side. Can you get around to the other side?
No, technically not. It's landlocked pretty much.
I'll show you.
I have a friend that borders on Charles Street, and I've walked down behind his house down to the pond. And there's a giant tree down there, it's an old growth tree. But, it's, you can't get to it without an easement.
Yeah.
I wonder how to get the sewer plant. And I think you've only got one other house.
Mhm.
Because of the backside.
And the yellow.
But I have to look up that pond in Marlboro, because I was just fascinated about the process, to know the process and how they actually got that done.
It's called Lake Williams.
Lake Williams, okay.
Or Williams Lake.
All right. This shows crossing easy.
Oh, yeah, don't touch it.
This shows crossing the pond. Is there a bridge there or something?
No, that's the dam.
The dam, it's an earthen dam, or rock, steps.
Something like that. I haven't been close to that. Yes, it's all this area. That'd be a nice trip back
Mhm.
there. And that's the dam, and that's part of the property.
I've paddled in there, but I don't,
I paddled a month from Linwood up to the mill in Whitensville, and from the mill in Whitensville up under 146. And I got stuck with a big down tree. I could have come up further, but that was fun. Going under 146.
yeah. I've gone into the Mass Pike in my canoe all alone. It's and a speedboat coming in the other direction. Yeah, all right. So, that sounds possible, okay. Number 7, budget for May town meeting,
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
We come back to Keeman property.
yes.
There's a small, I call it a pond, catch basin, whatever, of water.
Where?
The stream goes into that, and I assume goes out of that. Do we have any reason to need to test that water?
For what?
Well, you're probably gonna let your horses drink it.
Oh,
No, it wouldn't be, it'd be like any other water that's out there. No need to test it.
Okay.
But there's some place in town that they've said no going in the water in town. It wasn't the Lake, Wallen Lake, but it's something that's polluted, but not sure what it is.
Oh, and Brandon,
Might be Bad Luck Pond, I think.
this unknown,
There's no swimming.
unnamed stream that's going through here, the
Mhm.
Conservation Commission has mentioned that to Brandon with unnamed. I said, can we name that? Go for it. Call it something long enough and it becomes official. So-
Is that the
What was
Keaton
I-
Brook?
I think that's what I said. It's
Yeah.
called it the Keating Brook.
Yes, so I'm just letting you know.
You just keep talking about it.
I'll write that on the map.
Well, that is one thing you would not want to do at Gilboa Pond.
Drink out of the water.
No, you could, the water itself is really clean because
The mud underneath,
it's the sediment at the bottom that's the problem. I never want to stick it.
behind any dam
Yeah.
in central Mass.
Okay, so back to number 7.
Okay. So when do we, if the meeting is 5th of May, how far in advance, does anyone know? Before we have to get the request to get on the town meeting?
It's probably started now, and Mr. Benoit should know the details.
Oh, that's
So this is only speaking of the budget, which we have, tentatively, we have one item to put on the request, but I think we should also talk about, are there any other,
The sign, I haven't heard, Marcella, the sign that you had, the picture of Warren Brook, I sent an email to Marcella to say, like, who put that sign up? And what the cost was, and she replied back with a CC to the person that was supposed to get back to me that never has yet.
oh, is that Mike Panko?
Yes,
Oh, he's been busy. Yeah, because, okay.
yeah, I would include, because that's a nice sign, I would include that too. If we're working on getting this, we might as well add the sign in too.
We still have $300 to use before June.
Well, I'm gonna be giving you an invoice for $200 and
Yep.
1 cent or something or other, I mean, 201.
1 cent. Okay.
It was a little bit over 200.
Yeah, so we have 100.
Shipping did it, I was under.
I'm trying to see the, I think, I remember the company, I'll try to track that down.
Oh, for Mike?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, but to track down the company, then we can get a
Yeah.
quote. He just,
Okay.
I think there's an item potential for the agenda, which I think we're going to need, and that's porta johns. And we're going to develop parking spaces and trails, and we need to, at least for some of them, provide porta johns. That
this property
area.
right now,
No?
not at this stage of the game, no. No.
What about the junction of South Street and the trail?
On state land, he wants to know, and I didn't ask.
Well, we
That's a
may-
whole different ballgame.
What?
That's a whole different ballgame about putting porta johns on state property.
Well, we may not, there are other properties in that area.
Well, not at the crossing of the SNET and South Street though, but yeah. It's early for that.
Okay?
Let's make parking first. I mean, if you think that Ben would be available to help out and,
I think he would help out if we asked him.
because he donates them to the landfill or
Or
transfer
give
station.
to us at a lower cost or something.
I just think it's a premature, because we haven't even got a place for people to park yet, so.
All right, there are many parcels of land in town that are state, that are town-owned,
State or town?
town.
Town, right.
And none of those would be
No.
busy enough to,
No,
no. Okay,
not at this point.
I mean, the state are developed, but that's not
They don't
shouldn't be
even
our
have them.
concern.
We don't have them either. No, I was thinking along the lines of, last year, and this is frustrating because all of a sudden, a year has gone by, but last year we also asked, pushed to have the land that's known as Castle Caves, put under
I just
chapter
looked at the letter, yeah.
97, and
January
to keep it as conservation, and then there was pushback. And then there is a over 55 significant number of buildings that will be constructed that connect supposedly to that. But I guess we have to find out what the status is, and, again, should we ask that that be put under permanent protection? Because a year goes by and then everybody forgets about it, and then it's like, oh,
Right.
Really? The thing with not having it under conservation is that it's available for other things, even though it's town. Like, you can't put a farmer's market or a garden on conservation land. It can't be turned back from something that it already is.
I understand that, but the topography of this particular place
Right,
is
it's
not.
not gardening you.
This is specifically for non-development.
what does it take to make that happen?
Town meeting vote.
Do we have to get it on the agenda?
We did
The
last
warrant.
year.
Correct.
And what does it take to make that happen?
Well, the same thing.
Wait a
That's
minute.
okay, it was on,
Was
Yeah.
last year, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it just, the
They just
They
Pulled
didn't-
it, no, we
they didn't
pulled
vote
it
on it,
because,
yeah.
Right. It never came to a vote.
right, it was tabled, pulled, tabled, passed over, that's the word.
Why did they do that?
Because they wanted to preserve their options moving forward, and they wanted to see more about this over 55 subdivision and what was gonna happen, because they think that it's possible to,
Where's
Where's
the
the-
subdivision going?
at the end of
That's right.
Caswell Court, way up at the end, thank you. So they were thinking that by not making it chapter 97 in permanent protection, it would allow more flexibility for a connection possibly from the cul-de-sac. Because part of their argument was that the Castle Cave, the two parcels that make Castle Cave would be inaccessible without a connection to this cul-de-sac, or this road that's going in.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying we have to figure out an update and then figure out if they were,
So we should ask Matt for an update?
yep.
It sounds like something useful.
And is there anything else that's non-monetary that we need to ask for at town meeting? So we can keep thinking about that.
Well, you're gonna do a parking area for each lot that we have, each parcel? Is that the intent?
If, unless there's easy off-street parking, but,
So you need to look at parking as an expense, I assume.
and then, like if you want to use it for horse trailers or something, that's even more parking.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
turning one of those things around won't be easy, will it?
This town has a lot of horses because it has, a trail
The
that runs
horses are
through it.
fine, it's the trailers that,
Yeah.
and the truck that's attached to the trailer.
Yeah, they should just be able to ride their horses over to the trail, right? Down zooming roads.
So I would think that that would be something for the budget.
That's interesting. I didn't know anything about the 55 and over.
They were at the same, I guess like the conservation meeting before the one you were at, they were at the same thing for the 25 Conservation Drive. Yeah. So if you watch that meeting, you get more.
Yeah.
So survey of all conservation properties, what do you mean by survey? Like actual survey,
No, I was just, for instance, like just pick a property. I don't know that we need to survey any of them, when I look at, like if we get a copy of the surrounding land and just put the number of the latitude, longitude at every turn or whatever, we can basically put trails in there and keep off private land ourselves when we want to make trails, rather than,
But most of these have GPS coordinates and
right,
you're pretty much
right, that's what I
good
mean.
for boundaries.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
right. But,
So you were just worried about making sure when we're establishing trails that we stay on town property?
right,
Yeah.
for that
I'm
purpose,
not
yeah, okay.
worried about that.
But then the survey, not so much, it's just, I wanted just to make a folder up of all,
Mhm.
each property and
Yep.
all the stuff that's been done to it and everything. So that's what I have, that's
Okay.
basically
Okay, your
tabulation
surveys.
rather than.
You're not
survey.
talking meets and bounds survey
No,
as
no,
much
no.
as inventory of
Right,
Yes, okay.
inventory, it's a
yeah,
better word.
characteristics of the property.
Yeah.
Right, right. And-
Gotcha.
Okay.
And maybe not just conservation, I mean, the common or
Potentials.
other, all town properties probably should have a folder of some sort, so.
Not if they don't have any open space, but.
All right. And then we talked about a kitty from year to year to save the money, but we just use it up in signs, just figure it out and use it up. We don't get that much anyway, $300.
Yeah, but better to make sure we use it than, you know.
Right, right.
Let it go back to the general fund.
If you don't use it, it goes back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we lose it.
Okay.
So that's why we
Mhm.
thought if we had a bank account that people could donate money to or whatever, but, you know, I don't know if that's realistic.
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not for this committee, because we're part of the town, but we could eventually have a Friends of the Haven property or something like that, that
Mhm.
would be able to
Mhm.
do a
That's a
GoFundMe
good
or something
idea.
for whatever we need done.
That's my bird.
Okay. Yep, so we basically covered number 8.
Yep.
And that's topic brainstorm, okay. Dick's been going through the he was looking for something to do last weekend. And I said, well, go through the open space plan and, you know, say, okay, we recommended highway do this and, you know, various things like that, so. I don't know if he's done it or not, but, and then,
So I would just, if we have folks who have time, I would appreciate if somebody could keep an eye on what grants the Commonwealth and others are offering. So that, because it's not only trails, but they offer,
yeah, even, you know, things like the Mass Historic
Mhm.
Society or something might say pick up an old trail that's, you know, all Commonwealth Ave or whatever, it runs through Douglas.
Connecticut Path.
Connecticut Path, yes.
Well,
But, and some are, there are sometimes are funds for, universal access and things like that. So if someone could just sort of stay on top of that, because I see a lot of opportunities and then before I know it, the deadline's passed.
Yeah. Just go on the computer under Commonwealth grants,
Yeah, or just say, just do a search,
yeah.
grants for trails, grants for open space, grants for forest preservation, anything like that.
AARP has a thing that they call living communities.
It just came out.
And we, the town senior center, applied for 2 grants over the last 2 years. I see an opportunity here, but we aren't there yet. We need to do the open space, each one with a plan, connected if we can, and if not, what we're going to do about that. The money's serious. Up to $25,000 or something. But
Well,
we
you
just aren't there.
Right, find what, when it happens every year or the
Well, it
period.
happens every year right now.
All right, so we'll put that in our folder that every year,
So next year, if we had some of these, if we had some of these parcels worked through, and by work through, I'm talking about the things that have to happen to it to make it whatever it's going to become in the future. If it's only trails, then the trails outlined. If it's more than trails,
mhm.
I mean, I talked with Sue about the, what are they? Water things for the kids.
Oh, yes. Splash pads.
Splash pad. And I think that's doable. That's the reason I asked about how easy is the access to the water. But it's more than that. I think we don't need to worry about the system too much if we do a solar system that charges the battery when it's not in use, and I think the kids would love it, and I think it would help our visibility in the community, which some of you will find out later on over, you may have discovered already. I don't like losing And I don't like losing CPA money because that's good for the town. And it's just a way of getting it done.
It's a good PR to have something for the kids, since there's more and
Yes.
more kids in this town, and something for the trails.
And something for the
Not
kids
just-
would be hugely popular with the kids and the parents.
So I just want to suggest that a lot of the properties that we look at,
Right,
you know, because we're open space,
right.
means they're not really developed,
Okay,
okay? So that's sort of our number one priority. But a concept like Gordon's with a park down by the pond, it, to me, would dovetail really well.
Mhm.
And that would be fabulous to put, you know, okay, kids, you don't want to go in that water, but have
Yes.
at the splash pads.
There's water you can go.
You can put up really cool sculptures and art there too.
Mhm.
So I think we
And
need to,
trees.
yeah,
And
but
trees.
we need to sort of say, maybe we have whoever needs to be here next meeting, that this is a project that we want to flesh out so that we can develop it along the lines of being able to apply for living communities.
yeah.
Because I'm just trying to, if we inventory all these different parcels all over the place,
Which we've done with a folder for each one, right?
yeah, but, and we've also done that sort of in the open space plan. But that, to me, that's not really gonna move us forward, because this is a property that we didn't even have when we
It's
did
on
the
the radar,
plan.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and, you know, Gordon, if you could find out what kind of space are we actually talking about for parking versus the rest?
Like I said, I sent him an email, he never got back to me, but
All right.
we'll see.
We'll go we can go beat them up and
There you go.
then make sure you get an answer.
Oh, goody. I like that kind of activity.
It's our favorite thing.
The thing is, it's also what group? The select board or someone, some other group was talking about what to do with that property. They've got ideas too.
Recreation?
Somebody, I can't remember. who said it.
Like down at recreation, yeah.
But if there's let's get everybody in the same room together and say, what can we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be
Yeah.
fabulous.
Mhm.
My vision for it also is that you don't do everything in one area, that you spread it out, different parts of the town, which is a different population. Because I think the next time we put this thing CPA on, it should overwhelmingly be yes. And that's because we're
So there was- there was-
Towards
highly
building that up.
visible and useful to the community.
So there was a discussion on one of the Facebook sites about what's happened on Route 16 into Webster. And someone said it's gonna be cubes or something. And someone said, well, they're taking everything they're not. And I said, you know, we
I saw
could have,
that.
if we had the CPA, we might have had money.
I saw that too.
You know, I said,
Good plug, Gordon.
The tragedy with that is that the town owned it,
did they?
Right.
No, we gave it away, or sold it.
sold it. Yeah,
They get good money for it, or?
depends on what you,
Are you sure it's gonna be cubes?
not
I heard it was
cubes.
gonna be a
no.
pot
No, just storage.
Hot
I
shot.
thought
No,
it was
that
gonna
was
be
the pot
dancers.
shop. It's zoned for
Yeah,
that.
adult entertainment.
adult entertainment,
Oh, she could
but
be kidding me.
I,
Yeah,
well,
it's
I
weird,
saw,
right?
I saw a plan that had it as self-storage.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Not cubes as in
No, I didn't mean that.
self-storage.
Right,
It's a
storage.
brand
Which is
name.
still tragic, because
Yeah.
the town could have put a four-season facility up there, and it would have been awesome.
Well, and aren't they taking land by eminent domain to put up a new DPW?
Yeah.
Sale, eminent domain, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be really far out. I don't know.
They already owned it.
Yeah, well, exactly. We shouldn't sell,
Right, and we've
And
got
it's right
power
next
out
to-
there
right
now
next to the
since they.
state forest, right
Yeah.
next to a bunch of trails.
yeah, it was a no-brainer, but can't tell anybody.
You need a little dog center with roasting chickens in it, so all the runaway dogs will go there.
All right, so Gordon, if you can find out stuff about that, that would be
Mhm.
great.
We'll run with this.
If I can help, ask.
List of them. things.
You want new business, old business?
Okay. We need to vote on the ability to sign documents, either Lisa or myself. And you can't vote, but,
So that's not documents, that's vouchers.
okay, she said documents, but yeah, vouchers.
Yep. I think it's specifically vouchers
Yeah.
now.
So if you had signature authority, it could be for anything.
Well, we could make it for anything. Do you want to make it for, on behalf of the committee?
Mhm.
Okay,
But
so.
anyone on the committee can vote? I missed that. What did you say?
No, I'm gonna make a motion that the committee
Yeah.
authorize the chair and vice chair to be able to sign documents on behalf of the committee.
I second that.
Yeah, well stated.
All in favor?
Is there any discussion?
Any discussion? No, I think that's. All in favor?
I think I can write that fast, guys.
I'll slip
Listen
it
to
to
the
you.
video.
Write faster, write faster.
The master plan committee, the secretary watches the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to on this one, because I was like, okay, I didn't even
No.
get who seconded it or whatever.
Yeah.
Gordon seconded it, I made the motion,
Sue must do.
and it's for the chair and vice chair.
I'll go back.
Sign documents on behalf of the committee.
All right, and next, attending the next Concom meeting, anybody else want, you're gonna go, you're there already for something else, so basically you're not with us in a way, but.
But you're gonna check with, to make sure that
Yeah,
that wasn't
yeah,
already
yeah,
covered,
yeah.
because I don't know if she knew you were
Yeah.
there and explained stuff already or not, so.
Yeah, I would go anyway, so.
Yeah. Yeah, the budget, we'll figure that out.
Oh, when you made that motion, did you say chair and vice chair? Or
Yes.
did you say chair or vice chair?
And,
So both of you have to sign.
no,
Ability
That's
for
a
both.
and/or.
I said
Are you sure?
chair and vice chair
Authorize.
are authorized to sign on behalf of the committee.
Not that they both have to sign.
All right.
So if Sue's out of town, I can go in and
Yeah.
sign, vice versa.
Did everyone sign that?
The other voucher?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
did.
I did.
I did, yeah. But she only needed three.
Three. I think we all signed it, she only needed three.
All right.
Yeah.
We got it done.
And they need to replace those tabs up there for the mailbox things. You know how hard I was trying to read, where's open space? It wasn't even alphabetically.
Yeah.
No,
Priority, we're at the end.
We gotta figure out
No, at the
that
very top.
it's above, not below.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're with the Oktoberfest. Well, it's kind of alphabetical there.
Isn't that
Yeah.
for 2 minutes, like, where the heck are we?
Now you know forever.
Yeah, all right. How long do you think that's gonna be retained?
Yeah.
Right?
It might be replaced with something. Okay,
Oh, but you'll tell, are you gonna tell Jen that we did that? We passed the motion
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
authorization?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's about it. Any new or old business and items not anticipated? Okay, let's do it. Yes?
Yeah, several,
Old or new?
several. Get ready to write.
Old or new, we'll be working on. Oh, you giving me notes?
Yes.
See attached.
Love those.
So, this looks like new.
Somebody has an extra one. Okay.
Any half pages?
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of extra paper, but I
Shouldn't we
will
be
save
getting
it, I
half
promise.
Half pages?
Double space.
The way my computer and printer were working today, I
Yeah.
would have taken 5 pages. I don't care.
Word page.
So this is what you want to advertise for.
This did not go anywhere. What it is an example of things we could use our parcels of
future.
land for.
Yeah.
And it is a way of getting out into the community that there is more things happening than they might believe.
We could catch fireflies at one place in the evening.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if there are any left, I don't know.
So the next question is, should we do something with this? Should we really try to have some cross-country skiing?
Well, who's bringing the snow?
Well, the snow is likely to happen. It's that time of year.
I'm wishing for it not to, I'm doing okay.
Squeaking by.
Yep.
All right, I just want to propose that we don't really have any properties with enough trail to be
Okay, that's entirely possible,
used.
but it's something we could start thinking about.
The state forest has plenty.
State forest is big too.
Could do a half-mile loop at the Leon Mazinski, that's about it.
No,
I really like this
I think it's a
concept.
great idea,
Yes.
and it's something to work on. It's the open space plan, you know, it's to, just to get people aware of
Yep.
that they're out there.
We could use Meetup, is it Meetup that you can post these kind of things and then more people can see it? You still have to
Advertise in
figure out the
advance.
bones, like who's gonna lead and blah, 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 but I think there's something
More
called
details.
Meetup that is a digital sort of forum for people who want to do these kind of things.
The other one that was sort of floating around in my mind and didn't get printed out, but cliff climbing. We have some areas that you could, the amateurs, not the experienced people, but the amateurs, but you need someone to organize that. You wouldn't want kids going and trying it first time, unless it was some kids you didn't want, so.
At Castle Caves. This is probably the only cliff I know of in town.
Well, I went through an area on Vine Street, which looked like it would be good for learning how to just do the basics of getting up 20 feet. The basics of taller than you are. Anyway, so
Yeah,
that's one.
well,
But Dick, we could also work with the folks at the Heritage Corridor who have a volunteer leader who leads hikes.
Okay.
And we could say, you know, we have, like, they're gonna do one in Upton, and they do different ones, but we could say, the Douglas Open Space Committee wants to recommend that you do a hike at X, Y, or Z, and could you get that into your rotation for this year or next year type of thing? So that way, we don't have to do all the organizing,
Right.
but we can say we sponsor it or whatever.
Yeah.
Castle Hill in Northbridge is where they've done one successfully.
And could be doing one at the Grand Trunk Loop in Douglas here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, this one was sort of strange. Sorry about that. My proposal is to go to Matt, not a wrestling mat, but that mat.
That mat or that mat? There's two mats.
That mat, yeah, I know, not, I call him Mat 1
Yeah.
when I'm in an audience with both of them. We have 2 recreation groups in town. And it didn't dawn on me that until just like last week. And I said, wait a minute, we got 2 different groups and there are going to be some overlapping places and we may be not working together on the overlapping places. So I propose to take this to Matt, one, and say, Matt, you know that you have two Recreation Commission people, directors in town. I think we should end up defining what each one is supposed to be doing so that we don't run into any issues. So this is what I wrote.
So the top one is the one that you're involved in, right?
Yeah, that's where pickleball
Yeah.
started, yeah. And under this, it would work out the way it worked out, working with Ryan. Because he's sort of the structured leader, even though no one has ever said that. So this was my attempt at getting it defined, so that we don't step on each other's toes. But it's not going anywhere unless this group agrees.
Okay, clarification, who's the two recreation,
I didn't even know we had them.
I know we had a recreation commission, but I thought we only had one recreation commission.
They're elected.
Well, this is the second one.
No.
Which
This
is,
is open space and recreation.
no, this
No,
is
we're
open
just
space.
The plan was for open space and recreation,
Right.
but we don't have recreation jurisdiction.
We had
No,
to
it
look for them.
doesn't say open space and recreation anywhere at all.
Just on the
Open space
plan.
committee.
Okay,
So the state asks the towns to put together an open space and recreation plan, assuming that open space and recreation work together.
okay,
But we are open space, and then there's we're appointed by the Board of Selectmen.
okay,
The Recreation Commission, they actually run for seat on the commission every year,
yes,
3-year term, I think. They're
yes.
separate and apart.
But they don't want to do the kind of recreation that we're going to be doing.
That's fine. They do structured recreation, they do team-oriented recreation, they
Like
do,
pickleball.
yeah.
No, I understand that, yeah,
So you're under their jurisdiction with the pickleball.
yes,
Okay. So you think we're the unstructured game?
yes,
Well,
We're working on providing the areas for
Right.
these
yes.
unstructured things.
You know, and after, you know, if we get, everything's beautiful, we can maybe then, you know, do
Start doing-
activities and stuff like that after we get it ready to have an activity
Yep.
there, but we're not there.
Yeah, like the Keven property, once we get that all set and open, ready to open up,
Which
then we
is-
could do some walks or stuff like that in
You
there.
could cut the ribbon.
We're going to be talking potentially to the Boy Scouts to be doing things, and the high school AP class come down and walk through and look at the difference between the natural and the invasive species of things. So we're going to be encouraging the recreation in these areas. So I think that the state got it right.
By combining them.
Yeah, and I think we're in there. Whether you want to be or not, I think you're there.
So I guess I'm unclear what the problem or the issue is.
At the moment, there isn't one.
Okay.
But, yeah, we are providing availability for recreation, and, you know, the recreation plan, okay, we could ignore the recreation part of it, but we're just, you know, we just want to make it available for everybody, and as far as like
Well, I
the
think-
ball field and the handles on the fountains are not ADA compliant, that's really not our area, but it's in the open space and recreation plan, so if we have the time and it's along the same lines of what we're doing, we try to get a grant or whatever to fix things like that.
Okay?
But it's not so much of a recreation part isn't so much of a priority, it's more of like connecting trails, connecting pieces and things like that for wildlife as much as for people.
So at the moment, I shouldn't go to Matt.
Have you taken this to the Recreation Commission?
No?
I would do that first.
It's gone nowhere except here.
Okay. Well, I would get their feedback too.
Do they have meetings?
They're an elected
They
commission.
seldom have meetings. They don't schedule meetings.
It was very hard to get any input, if we even got any from them.
I
on this
do
whole thing.
understand that. We went through that. And we overwhelmed the system.
So they should do the recreation part and we should do the open space part. But we cross over, so we should help each other.
All right, I will speak with Ryan, see where that goes. All right, we'll let you know.
No, this is all good stuff to look at and think about. Any other new business?
Well, you-
He's
of
not
course.
done yet.
Yeah.
I see more
Another
piles
sheet.
here.
Oh, no.
I didn't know which one of these two I would give you first. And there are two left.
Before dark.
So the first question, obviously, if you think about it, it's Keven property. That's the 60 plus. It took me a minute to read that.
60 plus
Acres.
acres.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
like 60 feet away from an area, and I'm like, wow, was there even a thing for that? Okay.
So the question is no, right? Answer is no, rather.
Are we ready to mark the trails and potential trails? Yes.
We're working on, well, as far as the Keven property, on an alternative, but we'll see where that goes.
Are we ready to use a chainsaw? Always.
You like that one?
I like my chainsaw.
There are
That's a
some,
yes.
there are some problem trees. I've seen in pictures, the Keven area trail assessment, they show trees,
Across the trails.
yeah.
Yeah, he's worried too about the ones that are next to it that are dead that should come down.
The dead oaks, yeah.
Yeah. We're ready to create more openings in the stone walls. More than what we already need to do for access, or what are you talking about? Or are you talking about all the properties?
Most of the time, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Can you answer
When I
these?
brainstorm, it goes, "Ugh." And then it usually gets people to saying, oh, are you talking about, and then that's the topic we're talking about.
Yeah, we can make opening in stone walls if it obstructs a trail path.
Okay?
But
This
I
is
think we
not,
should- we
this
should
is
be-
not the time of year to try to move stone walls, though. They are frozen together, like it's
Yes.
epoxy.
Yeah.
For the most part, you can try to get around them because they naturally have barways in them.
Yeah.
So that's what you
Some-
would shoot for.
Some farmer put them there years ago.
Yeah. And that would probably, if they put them there, that would be the logical access
Yeah,
to
so
it
look for that
anyways.
first, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that would be,
And the big one at the Keven is all because, I mean, there was a development, it's why
Right.
there's big boulders in the middle of the trail.
But those aren't stone walls, and the stone walls are
the
the,
Yeah.
walls in the back there.
are the
Bounds.
cultural artifact of the
Yeah.
area. We want to preserve those as much
Right,
as
and if we went around it, we would have to go on her land, so.
So anyway,
Well, the one at the Keven property, we just said it's 25 by 25. Oh, to the trail, so how, it was 300 feet or something like that?
What is opening from the current parking to the trails, 14.58 foot. is the width of the easement.
But there's no current parking.
No.
When the current gets existing. That's
The
what we
number-
have.
Yeah, number 8, Sue and I briefly talked about it.
Dirt bikes or, yeah.
Yeah, four-wheelers, dirt bikes.
Well, how about people and horses and
Horses.
dogs?
Passive
People.
recreation.
Passive,
only.
yeah.
Dogs on leash.
Yeah.
Horses already going there.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Non-motorized, no, motorized use not allowed.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Passive.
Are there
passive
going to be
recreation.
any allowed?
No.
So in the town property, we will tell the motorized people you're off limits.
Mhm.
It's always been the way anyway.
Maybe we should have 1 or 2 places that's open to them.
Maybe that's for another time. But this discussion, I want to emphasize that properties that we look at in the future, it's really critical that we have access to them. Because this property was donated a dozen years ago already, and the easement that they looked at, and then they thought there was something else from the abutter, but it just adds up to very limited, narrow access.
Yep.
And we want to try to avoid that in the future.
Yeah. And that's what Sue is trying to do on the other end of the property.
Right. But it's a challenge because it's either donated or it's part of a subdivision plan or it's required some other way, and we just have to push back and say, no, we really need to be able to access the property for the benefit of the townspeople.
Plus, keep an eye on it after it's gifted so that people in neighboring
Yeah.
properties don't just put all their boulders in the middle of it.
Well, yeah.
Foundation boulders, probably.
Or dumping trash, or get rid of their couch in the back
Yeah.
because nobody will see it.
Tires.
Tires, yeah. Really critical.
All right, one last sheet here.
One last. Probably won't end the discussion, but last.
You're planning all the future stuff for us here, Dick.
You wanted to go through the, you know, you got the master, or the open space and recreation plan out of the library and I get one from
Dick, can you go back here? What are we saying here?
On this one,
Yeah.
this one I'm saying that we need to focus on a small number of parcels of land at the moment. It might be 1, it might be 3, and then go down through that piece of land with the objective of finishing parking and use and trails, but actually finishing that's what you start on any one item.
Right, and then advertise it and
Oh, yes.
give a CPA push
And that's what
and all
we're
that stuff.
doing
Yeah.
right now is the Leon Mazinski property and the Keegan property.
Fine.
How we doing it?
That's our priorities right
Yeah.
now.
And then
Then we
Gilboa
start-
Street.
Gilboa Street.
Yeah, yeah, we just went to 3.
That's it.
Right, so we easily get beyond where we want to, and we need to stay focused and stay visible to the community, especially the CPA part of
Show 'em what we're
getting
doing.
money
so, you know.
and what it's being used for. And right now, if we want to do something that's beyond our budget, we have to go get the Board of Selectmen to release more money to us, which is going to be a visible transaction, because it could have come out of taxes anyway.
Plan ahead and get the money to do the project and get it done and move on, yeah?
So this kind of thing is what I use to get me to stay focused on, okay, we did this as item 1, we finished that, now we went to item 2. And just take it down, does it require anything that we
Yep.
might
Mhm.
have overlooked? Like, did we have the authority to do whatever it is that we want to do? cut a few trees here and there. We cut them too close to wetlands, and our friends Conservation Commission will
You're always talking
fit.
about cutting trees. I don't know.
Leave the trees alone.
We need to get him some of those spikes so we can climb up and kill the tree.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll have a tree climbing class.
Yeah, I'll video it from the ground. We had two memos in our open space box. One of them was about Kevin Lightbone land on Vine Street. Doesn't need to take it out of chapter, he's transferring it to his family member, a daughter for building a house. And the other one is Lake Manchaug Camping. Nick Starrick of Lake Manchaug Camping delivered a preliminary plan informing the town of their intention to withdraw a portion of land at 76 Oak Street from Chapter 61B. The land will be conveyed to a family member, Nick Starrick, so he can build a home. This is not subject to the town's right of first refusal, so there's no reason to take action.
Okay, so they're both of those are informational.
All right, anything
No,
else?
either this time or next time, I'd like to know, I think it would be useful for the group to know, and I certainly would like to know, what we're going to focus on for parcels and get them finished and into useful community.
Well, what about, the two that we just three that we just mentioned? Yep.
Okay. All right. So what's the next step with with each one?
Well, we're gonna look for grants, we're gonna,
Get some quotes.
quotes.
Okay.
And in the meantime, back out there exploring for
Hiking around.
trail locations that we wanted to be.
Right.
And the same thing for Leon Medzinski. Leon Medzinski, we need to meet with the highway department to get them, to see if they can maintain the parking lot. To keep that trimmed and trimmed along the side of the road, because the parking lot's up here, the trailhead's down here.
And do we can put those signs up too, right?
Yeah, either we can, or maybe they can. Maybe the highway department can.
Right.
The two on the sign, we could put up ourselves.
Yeah.
The two that need posts. We can
Yep. See if we
let the
can.
boys do it.
But not in the wintertime, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be digging holes.
I got a post hole
Nope.
there.
I wouldn't even try that. So, that's what we're,
Yeah. So getting the quotes is a good step.
yes.
The grants issue, that means that we need to focus the grants on the 3 parcels.
Nope, that's specifically for Keaton.
Yeah.
Unless you come up with another one.
So, that's where we're at right now.
So, I'd like to ask a question in that, maybe because I missed the last meeting, but did we address the annual report that was requested of
Oh, no, I
us?
guess I did
Oh,
not.
no, we didn't, we forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, I think we
Yeah.
need to just focus on that a few minutes and,
Yep.
Yeah, I always wrote it before, and now all of a sudden they're just sending it to me.
well, this
Written.
is last year's. And he said, make modifications and send it back. So
Oh,
this is
really? That's
year.
last year's? Oh,
Yes.
jeez. No wonder it was without much impact.
But if you want, I mean, I can, if we brainstorm and say what we want to include in it, I will make modifications and send it back to him.
Well, they didn't mention the open space and recreation plan, did they?
This year, the committee finalized administering an $18,000 grant from CMRPC for updating the plan.
So what have we done this year?
2024. that it was
Right,
approved.
it's like they're gonna cut us short a year if they can't wait
No, so we say it was approved by the
Yep.
Commonwealth.
in January. 2024.
And it's accessible online, correct?
Yep.
It's a copy of the library. Dick returned it.
Okay.
I just, he didn't, preserving land that is valuable as, he didn't have recreation in there, I'm sorry, so I put recreation and I put it first. In the et cetera, I don't like et ceteras. So I just put recreation, wildlife, corridors, wetlands, farmlands, viewscapes, et cetera. I put viewscapes down the list.
Those are important.
We'll cut et cetera. As valuable as habitat.
Yeah. So, kind of
Okay.
Doesn't mention the Community Preservation Act.
So, coordinated efforts
Mm-hmm.
to bring CPA to a vote of the community.
Yep.
Unsuccessful, but educated.
And we had the trail assessment plan completed for the Teven property. 'Cause that was
Completed.
04, that was 24.
Yeah.
By, should we mention the vendor?
By Conservation Works.
Okay. What else?
Should we say we did walkthroughs of some of the properties at Lizinski and to assess the trails or something like that?
Assessed trail
Development possibilities.
possibilities at Mazinski,
Trail expansion.
trail expansion.
Yeah, thanks. Expansion.
Facilitated the donation
Yep.
of
25 Conservation Drive. Yep.
I was just gonna do it.
See, that looks much better than this
Yeah.
boilerplate.
Yeah.
that gives access to town
Good job.
at number, what is that, no, whatever. Mumford.
Mumford River. That is the Mumford River going through there.
Okay, I'll send this
Maybe we
around.
should slide in that we named an unnamed brook.
And we've changed the name for everybody in town.
All right, I'll send that around, and then if we have any corrections, then I'll send it to.
And I'd like to put a fourth one on the list,
What?
Did we accomplish last year?
the children's water play area.
Oh,
Well, that's part of the
I'm
Yeah.
thinking
park
that's
development.
Yeah.
That would be a park versus
Open space.
using open space, but it's more, yeah.
All righty. Yeah, it's much better.
We did a lot.
Yes, we did.
Mhm.
If you think of anything else, just send it to me.
All right, next meeting. I'm taking a trip. The meeting's gonna be in St. John.
Oh, wow.
You're taking us all with you.
Yeah, I got a big suitcase. You too, Sarah, bring your guns.
Not St. John, Newfoundland.
No, the southern, the Virgin Islands.
Are we at 3 o'clock from now on, or are we back to 2?
Well, it's up to Lisa, your meetings are at 3, so it's, 2, so it's better to have them at 3, right?
Yeah, I'd appreciate it if the next one could be at 3, but
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
not
okay.
put it in cement yet, because,
Then
So
let's
it's
not go
February
2
11th?
hours. Let's not go 2 hours.
3, 4, 5 points after your time.
I knew this one was gonna be long because of the agenda, so
Yeah.
usually it's not.
Right, 3 PM, what day? I'm gone from the 10th to the 17th. But someone else could run the meeting.
And go for 21st.
Miss Lisa.
Well,
yeah, if you want to stick with the 11th, I'm happy to
we
run
do
that.
want to talk about the grants though and stuff like that. or the
No, if-
second,
If that's due the second,
yeah, the third.
That's-
third.
That's not much time.
No. Well, we're gonna have to get together before that and write it out.
well, if we have most of the components, it's not so bad, but it's, on this you put February 1st, which is
Yeah, February 1st, I guess.
a Saturday? No, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
We were-
In that area anyway, so
Close enough.
before that, we did work on it.
7 days every
Update-
week. so-
Update via
Must
email.
have forgot to
when we
change
get
my year on my calendar.
What we need.
Yeah, the grant's gonna have to go out, I mean, if we apply for it, it's gonna have to go out before the next meeting, so. When, you said you're out the 10th through
Yeah.
the 17th?
Yeah.
So then the day after is the 3rd.
Yeah, but the grant is due February 1st.
Yeah, so it needs to get sent like a week before.
Oh, yeah, I'm just talking about another,
Oh, have to.
the February open space meeting. Do you want it after Sue gets back, or do you want to have it stay with the 11th, it's the second Tuesday, or it's up to you?
If we meet intermediary to do the grant, then we could do the later one.
The 18th,
Yeah.
the 3rd Tuesday?
I can show off my tan.
What do you think about that?
I'm fine with that.
2/18. Let's go up. All right, and then we can, in the middle, in between, we can pull it off and
Try to,
even, I guess if it's more than three of us, or three, we need to meet here and have a nice working meeting.
yeah, we gotta find out who needs to sign it to make sure we are able to get that completed. Who needs the, if there's a page we need signed as an applicant.
If Matt B would know.
Yeah.
Have to download the form and see what they're asking.
Yeah, this was in particular with conservation restricted property, not outright owned property, but I would assume that there's still somewhere on the application they're looking for a signature.
You get Dick to sign it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, see,
Time to
he's
wake up.
very willing.
I was just taking my senior nap.
Yeah. Yep, okay, yeah, that's right. Close the meetings.
Yep, adjourn.
Cheat, cheat.
Move that we adjourn.
Yep. Second, right? Yeah.
At,
Second it?
let's
Yeah,
see.
you don't need a second.
4:40.
Everyone does it.
4:50.
All in
don't
favor?
need a second.
Aye.
Who seconded?